You suck at guitar solos and you wish there is a solo out there that will help you to not only improve on your technique, on your phrasing, your melody, your sound, your timing, but also can help you to write your own solo? Well, stop looking for it, because I have the answer in today's video. Here we go. Hey Guitar Champion, what's going on? I'm 𝗗𝗜𝙦𝗚𝗟𝗏 back from my practice dojo and welcome to today's video. A couple of days ago, one of my coaching clients from the ZEN of SWEEPING, my Patreon Academy, has asked me if I know any solo that he can improve on his technique, or that he can learn how to write a solo, or that also can work on phrasing and on timing, because he is easily bored of just playing exercises every day. He needs a way to make music out of it. And I went to the Shred archives and dig really deep to find a specific solo that can help you with all of these things. That is like a roundhouse kick of working on your technique, working on your phrasing, your timing, your tone, and shows you how to connect and play around with those kind of ideas. But my quest failed and I couldn't find anything because of several problems. First of all, easy. The purpose of a solo is not to be an exercise for all these kind of crafts. So there were always sections in certain solos, and it doesn't matter if Metallica, Iron Maiden, Megadeth, Dream Theater, Malmsteen, Paul Gilbert, all these kind of guys, there were always either sections that are too hard for an intermediate level, or sections that are too confusing. Because the guitar player was improvising or was playing some, blues phrases that are really hard to reproduce. Remember, I made a whole video about this kind of phenomenon here on this channel that you can watch right here later after you've watched this video, and of course subscribe to this channel. Or the guitar player was just playing chaos, and that, I remember in my youth when I started to learn guitar, always demotivated me to, get really deep into that solo and learn it really properly. So I thought to myself, like, hey, why not writing an own solo that has the purpose of not being a good solo, but has the purpose of being a good exercise on how to connect ideas with licks where you can practice your alternate picking, your sweeping, your tapping with it, with sections where you can work on your phrasing and all of these kind of things. And in the end, to show you how to work with dynamic, how to work with tension and release and build up in a solo, like I've once described it in my Why Is This Solo So Great video about Fatal Tragedy from John Petrucci. So I would say, let's check out the solo. If you want to have the free tabs for that solo, then check the link in the description box. There you can find it for free. First, I'm going to play the solo, and then I will give you a full lesson of that solo where I'm discussing every lick, why they are good to work on for your intermediate playing, how you can use them theoretically, harmonically, and all of these kind of things. So I wish you a lot of fun learning, practicing, and mastering today's solo. Here we go. So we are in the key of E minor on that whole solo, and we're starting off with a bending that goes from the 15th to the 17th fret, from the D to the E on the B string, where we have a nice little bend, a bend release, just a notch, and then going back. And then putting vibrato on that bended note. And then we're going to a really cool picking lick that I call the stairs. Let's check it out. we're having a sequence where we're jumping over several notes. We're always playing the first note and then the second note after that note. So when this is our scale, 1, 2, 3, the third note comes after the first note. So it's also a sequence in thirds. 1 third of it. Playing that note, third of it. This lick can be a little bit tricky for the right hand and the pick slanting because we have to change the pick slanting in a really non-symmetrical kind of way. But if you struggle with things like pick slanting or picking in general, then of course I highly recommend to you the ZEN of Speedpicking, my big online masterclass where I'm going to show you in more than 50 exercises, 10 etudes, 4 workouts and a bulletproof practice plan how to bring your speed picking from to wow, I can finally play that favorite Jon Petrucci solo of mine. So I highly recommend to check out the ZEN of Speedpicking. For more information, check the link in the description box. This is played in 60 notes, and after that we are playing triplets, and we are playing something that I also call in ZEN of Speedpicking the Pepsi lick. We're just playing descending the scale on 2 strings in the sequence of 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Here we have, as pick slanting wise, upward pick slanting, going to downward pick slanting. Over exaggerating right now here with the movement. Again, upward, down, up, down. Then we're continuing with the whole lick, playing everything in 60 notes. Up to the E on the D string on the 14th fret. So as soon as we've reached the 12th fret here position wise, we're going to the G string, resolving to the D. So the first 2 licks in total would be Now the next section is inspired by players like 𝙤𝙤𝙢𝙢 or the Iron Maiden guys, and here we can work on our hand synchronization. And yes, I can't stress enough that there are no licks to work on efficiently on hand synchronization. It's more in how we are practicing hand synchronization, not necessarily with what we are practicing hand synchronization. On this lick we can train the exact timing where our fingers are hitting the strings, because on the right hand we are playing open note, open string constantly, and then in a specific time, in a specific 60 note, we are going down with our left hand. And when you are not good at these kind of things, that is a sign that you should work on your hand synchronization a little bit more. And here we can focus on especially that moment of time where both hands are synchronized together for that one note. So let's check out the next lick. So the notes that we are playing are basically E and D, going to G and F sharp, and then with a little bit of rhythmical displacement D and E again. Because first we are playing it on 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 1, 2. And then we're playing 2 60 notes later, or 1 8 note later, shifting the accent and having that rhythmical displacement. So both again together. And then we're playing the rhythm of the first figure, but now 15th fret, 14th fret, 15th fret, and 17th fret on the E string. And we're ending everything with a 6 string 3 note per string run. Like this, in E minor, starting on the 12th fret, going through the E minor 3 note per string scale. Now this is actually a lick that I'm practicing for 4 years now every day. It's a really hard one when you're playing it quite fast, but now we're playing 60 note and 120 BPM that are like, I think 7 notes per second, so it's moderate, it's still doable. As soon as we're going to play this one in 12 notes per second, ooh, this is going to be one of the hardest licks that we have on guitar, because we have to change the pick slant on every string, you know? Upward, downward, on a really, really tough, really, really hard lick. And here you get an introduction in this kind of really cool exercise, and this kind of really cool lick of playing just a scale ascending, which is musically super, super easy and effective, but technically it is not easy on guitar. All right, and this leads us to the melody section. So the melody section goes like this. and first we have this motif. We're continuing with that motif, but we only change the highest note on the E string. And then we are also adding the high B on the E string. And what I like to do is, for example, to put the vibrato on the E, the 17th fret, and widening it more and more in the next notes that we are playing. So for example, starting really slow, going wider here, and being extremely wide on the last note. Now for the next motif, I like to be a little bit more wild when it comes to the phrasing, to maybe a little bit 𝙎𝙬𝙀-esque, but you can decide that by yourself. So the second phrase goes like this. And here another cool thing that is always really important for when you're writing a solo is the duality of two things. You know, in the first motif, as a motif which is more like a curve going ascending, ba-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da, ba-da-da-da. And the second motif is like a straight line, but going descending in his sequence. Ba-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. Alright, now we're going to the first arpeggio section. First we're playing C major. Like this. We're starting off with the hammer on a pull-off on the 12th and on the 15th fret. Then we're sweeping descending to the D string. And then we're sweeping ascending from the A to the G string. And then the same arpeggio, one whole tone higher on the D major arpeggio. And now comes this pretty cool sequence from E minor. Which is also a pretty cool exercise for inside picking and outside picking, because we are switching constantly between outside picking, inside picking, outside picking, inside picking, outside picking. Then we're going back to the C major arpeggio. I'm just playing it ascending and descending up to the 15th fret again. Then we're going down one inversion to this D major string skipping arpeggio. And now we're going to the really cool A major arpeggio, resembling the E Dorian scale, by the way, not anymore the E minor scale. And it goes like this. Then we have the B dominant, which leads us back to E, and over that B dominant we are playing, of course, a diminished chord. One of the most famous shapes in traditional sweep music when it comes to dominant chords, because the substitution of a diminished chord represents B dominant 7 flat 9, which is a really cool sound. It goes 15, 12, 14, 15, 12, and then ascending again. And now the cool thing about diminished shapes is that every inversion looks the same because they are symmetrical. Symmetrical because the chord consists of only minor thirds. So we can take this shape here and just putting it a minor third higher, and we're having the next inversion that we're using in that solo as well. And now we're going to the final section, the sweep section. We're first starting off with a typical E minor 3-string sweep. That we are playing quite fast. And if you have troubles with playing sweep arpeggios fast and clean, then of course check out the ZEN of Sweeping, my sweeping masterclass, where I show you in more than 15 etudes to go from 3-string sweeps up to even 8-string sweeps and 7-string sweeps. Holy shit! From old school sweeps to modern sweeps. I recommend to get it, and you can get it 50% off whenever you're buying the ZEN of Speedpicking. Alright, now let's continue with the video. So after we've played that E minor sweep 4 times, we're going to D major, which is like this. We're knowing the shape from the first sweep section already. And now here we're adding 32nd notes because we're also adding a little tapping here on the 22nd fret. Then we're going back to E minor. And then we're adding one of my favorite tapped arpeggio licks, which goes like this. And every Christian Münzner fan or every tech death fan or neoclassical fan, they should listen now carefully, because this is really a classical Christian Münzner, neoclassical, Vinnie Moore, Greg Howe kind of lick. This is a little bit tricky for our left and for our right hand, but what we are basically doing is we're combining 2 inversions. We're combining this inversion here, which is tapped, which is played as tapped note, and this inversion here, which is the left-hand arpeggio in this case. And we are starting with 3 notes, and then we're going through the higher note, always 3 notes lower, descending with 3 notes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Both sections first, the E minor arpeggio. Here it's, by the way, a substitution for C major, because the chord underneath it is C, but when we're playing E minor triad over C, we're creating C major 7. Then we're going again to the D. And then in the final last 2 bars, we're playing this lick here, which is my favorite pattern when it comes to a lick that provides you for your whole speed picking journey. Doesn't matter if right hand, through the nature of the even number of notes per string, because in this case 6, and the left hand, because we're not playing only ascending, we're not only playing descending, we're combining both. And by that we're getting this kind of skip movement in that sequence, so it's super effective for the left hand as well. So slowly, the sequence goes like this. After that, we're going 1 inversion higher and going back. And then we're starting here on the 19th fret, going to the 20th fret, back to the 19th fret, all in the key of E minor. And then we are resolving to the 24th fret. So together, these 2 bars, slowly we have Alright, so much for today's video. I hope you liked this little video. If you liked it, then feel free to consider subscribing or leaving a nice comment. And I hope I'm going to see you in my next video. Cheers and power your progress.